Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am coming to you hotter than a prostitute walking on church on a Sunday on this last episode of summer. Welcome to the show, everyone. I am your hostess with the mostest, your boy, Charlie. Yes, welcome to the show. I have to give myself that intro. You know what I mean? That love. Welcome to another episode of the Inner Circle Podcast. Listen, I am coming to you today. My co-host, my squirrel friend, she is not with me today. Shout out to Melanie. Hopefully she feels better. And I'm supposed to come to with you today, or with me today, a special co-host, social media personality, Johonie. So we are waiting for Johonie. Hopefully he joins us soon. But listen, like the Grand Marshal I am, I must carry on and give you guys what you came for, which is some entertainment, some gaps, some circle chat, and all that good stuff. So let's get to it. Listen, there is so much to go through. I don't know where to start because literally leading into the show, and I'm looking at notes and stuff, y'all. So forgive me while I do all this, but literally coming into the show, there was breaking news with certain things, like, and it scares me as someone who's into media and podcasting and entertainment and all that. It's a little scary to hear things like this, but literally, I just heard about Jimmy Kimmel being suspended indefinitely because of a monologue that he did Monday night, I believe it was, Tuesday night, last night, or Monday night. I believe it was Monday night from what I just recently read in regards to, a joke about Trump. Now, we don't have that clip. I don't have the clip. Y'all can look it up. I'm sure it's going to be out there for many people to see. But I don't have the clip, but basically it was a joke about basically saying the fourth stage of building, because Trump had announced, after Friday, lowering the flags and all that stuff. And I even feel a little weird repeating it because this is exactly what got him in trouble. But after lowering the flags and everything that happened last week with Charlie Kirk and everything, again, our condolences to his family and all that. Is a tragic thing, no matter what your views are. And I will repeat that again. And even us on the Inner Circle Podcast, we don't condone violence. We don't celebrate violence. It's always messed up. Me as a spiritual person, as a child of God, because I even had my little spat on my social media, hi Facebook, with my opinion that I posted in regards to this whole, debacle and stuff, and in my point of views of what I thought he represented. He basically joked around. Back to Jimmy Kimmel, he joked around saying, the fourth stage of grieving, because Trump was talking about basically just recently about how they're building something at the White House, because we care so much about architecture, making things nice like he does, right? But yet we're cutting funding from left, right, and all around. So listen, there's a lot going on, and it was a joke that Jimmy Kimmel made. This is what late night shows have always been, making jokes. And listen, even through hard times and hardship, kind of making jokes about, when tragedy in some way strikes, not directly, but I've seen it growing up. So the fact that now we see people like Jimmy Kimmel and recently Colbert, I believe, on CBS, his show's coming to an end, and I read some things behind the scenes about that, and the reason maybe possibly be because of that, and who's bought Paramount as a whole. But now with what happened to Jimmy Kimmel, it just feels very dictatorship. It feels very silencing of free speech. So it's a little, listen, I try to be as positive as I could be, but it's a little scary living in our times where we see people like Jimmy Kimmel, who's been around forever, basically getting suspended indefinitely. And if you don't know what suspended means, no, we're not talking about school where you get suspended for a week or two. We're talking about indefinitely. Like the show's not coming back. Basically, you're canceled. You're fired. It's a nice way of saying it. So that's nuts. And again, it goes. Last week we had our thoughts. Check out that episode if y'all want. I will not repeat what I said just in case. And also, I know some people have said we're not. Last week's episode was not uploaded, or they couldn't find it. And yes, correct. I was having an issue uploading it. One would think Mercury Retrograde was around, and then my other thought was like, I wonder if we're being censored and something won't let me upload this because our little comments towards the end of the episode. Again, you can check it out, episode 279. It is on YouTube and Facebook. I'm doing my best to upload that, but yes, Jimmy Kimmel suspended indefinitely. I don't know what y'all think. Give me your thoughts. In the meantime, moving on, Cardi B announced what I think a lot of us already knew, which was she is pregnant with Stefan Diggs' baby. If you don't know who Stefan Diggs is, he's basically a football player. Now, Melanie's not here to say from what team. If she was here, she'll be giving us that tea. I don't know from what team, so I did not do my journalistic investigative duties this time around. But yes, she's pregnant. She started dating Stefan Diggs, I believe, last December. Again, she's going through a divorce with Offset. And she just announced her pregnancy. Now, there was speculation since summertime that Cardi B is pregnant. I have my thoughts, and it may be unpopular thoughts. And as I'm waiting for hopefully my special guest to join me, and in ways wishing Melanie was here to talk about this, because it's been in our production notes to talk about this for a while. And funny enough, it drops today, and she announces it today. About the speculation, she confirmed it today. I have my thoughts, and they may be unpopular, and I know many other people will say and bring up certain things, but I'll say my unpopular opinion first. I personally think it's too quick and too soon, and the reason why I say this is because Stefan Diggs is another fuckboy. He is. Stefan Diggs is no different than Offset. If you thought Offset made you look like a fool, Cardi, I ain't trying to wish you bad juju. I have my little crystal here who wards off all that spiritual attacks and stuff because the tongue is powerful. I'm not trying to wish you bad juju, but listen, Stefan Diggs, Google him, y'all. He is no different than Offset. He is a fuckboy as well. And for her not to even be fully divorced, and listen, man, do it all the time. But for her not to be fully divorced and already knocked up by another guy, it's like, damn. I give her her props and her flowers because I thought her possibly being pregnant, which she is, she confirmed it. She is doing her damn thing with this rollout of Am I the Drama, which drops this Friday. And listen, I'm personally looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to it. I'm excited I've been saying it on the show for the music dropping this fall. And I give it up to her that even while pregnant, she is hustling out there. She is promoting. She is making this album. She is going back. And a lot of other people are saying that. And me as a fan of music, and I've always been a fan of music since a kid. The excitement that was the late 90s and the early 2000s running to a CD store to get that CD, right? And open it and read the inside and who produced it. And again, even smell the booklet and all that stuff. The excitement of all that stuff, like, and seeing your artist promote and like on every show, award shows, radio shows out there, just promoting prior to the album and while the album wrote out. Shout out to Cardi because she is bringing that back in a day and age where a lot of artists, hi Justin Bieber, basically go on their Instagram and it's like, hello, I just dropped an album, go stream it. And I think Beyonce, we could blame Beyonce for that. She was the first artist to just drop an album and it's like everyone just went crazy and just went. So since then, I feel like a lot of artists are used to that and now they don't really promote. We miss those days. So shout out to Cardi B for that. I'll give her that. Now, with that being said, she is pregnant. So I give her her flowers and shout out for that. Congratulations. But the man, and he's also just like Offset. He is a Sagittarius. She loves her chocolate man, and she loves a Sagittarius. And can I add this? She loves a toxic man because Stephon Diggs ain't no different than Offset. But congratulations to the happy couple. Congratulations to Cardi for her baby musically dropping out this Friday. I'll definitely be checking it out. And we will definitely be talking about it next week on the Inner Circle podcast. So shout out to you, Mama. And I'm excited because she dropped the list, listing of her features, which include Janet Jackson, Tyler, which doesn't surprise me because you recently just was defending Tyler. Who else? Lizzo, the collaborator, Selena Gomez. So I'm really excited for this album. I'm really looking forward to Friday. Cardi, you got me. I'm definitely all the way tuned in. With that being said, it is Latin. Oh, speaking of music, last week Jade dropped her album, That's Showbiz Baby. And I have to say, for being the first Little Mix to drop a full-length album, because Leanne did drop an EP. It wasn't a full-length album, though. And Perry's album actually drops next week. Jade was the first Little Mixer to release a full-length album. And listen, I loved every single she released leading up to the album drop last Friday. And last Friday, the rest of the songs came. It's for 14 track. And again, I have to give it up to her. It's a great first solo debut effort. You have a little bit of everything on the album, from a little bit of disco to a little bit of taking it back with the trip hop. If you don't know what trip hop is, look it up, younger generation. It was a dubstep as well. I give the album out of 10 circles, I give it a solid 8 circles review. So definitely check out Jay's album. I loved it. Demi Lovato also dropped her second single from her just announced album that's coming out October 24th. It's Not That Deep. That's what the title is. It's Not That Deep, dropping October 24th. Demi Lovato released her second single, Fast Was First. She dropped this past summer. The second single she dropped this past Friday is, let me look at it, and I'm surprised that I don't know at the top of my head because it's been on repeat. It's called Here All Night. It's giving you very, again, 80s nostalgia with the beat and the very she's a maniac, like that type of song feel. But also it reminds me of what Dua Lipa is. It gives me very Dua Lipa as well, because Dua Lipa did that way. I think her last 2 albums gave that kind of sound, and even videos. Because I bring up the videos because she dropped Demi Lovato also dropped the videos for Here All Night, and it's it's reminiscent of Dua Lipa. But let me say this, and I can't stop saying it enough. We spoke about it on the podcast last week. Demi Lovato is looking the greatest she's ever looked, and I am here for it. So shout out to you, Mama. That deserves claps. That deserves some claps because you are doing the damn thing. The damn thing. Now, music-wise, let's move on to some TV. Yesterday, the premiere of Salt Lake City happened. Finally fall TV, because I feel like Bravo TV the last 2 years during the spring, summer, September. If you get it, you get it. They're kind of dry. There's not as many shows on, especially housewives shows on. So, it's like it feels a little empty. But come fall, Bravo feeds us Bravoholics. And, I'm here for it, and I'm excited. Potomac drops in a few weeks. Beverly Hills drops in November. So there's a lot coming, and obviously the new shows. The Wife Swap Real Housewives edition was just announced as well, which will feature wife swapping Angie Katzenova from Salt Lake City, Wendy Osefo from Potomac. Melissa Gorga finally gets a show. Melissa Gorga from New Jersey, and there's another. Oh, and homegirl from OC. I forgot her name. She annoying. Is the one that's always crying about her weight. But anyways, that one. I said that. Yeah, I forgot her name right now, but it's not Jen. Jen's the pretty blonde one. But anywho, she's forgettable, I guess. But yeah, that show. So there's a lot coming up. The Ladies of London reboot. They already started showing the commercials for that. So I'm excited for Bravo Fall Winter. But speaking of Angie Casanova from Salt Lake City premiered last night, and my personal take on it. Listen, I love Salt Lake City since season 1. I'm not a bandwagon. I love the show since the beginning. Since John Shaw was on. I've always felt that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was a little produced. And when I say a little produced is reality TV is not as reality as we think. You know what I mean? Like a lot of shows and a lot of these reality TV stars self-produce themselves. And when you say self-produces, it's like you could tell they're amping it up. You could tell there's a little bit of acting. You could tell there's a little bit of them trying to have a moment. Even if it's between cast members, trust and believe. There are cast members out there on these reality shows that have conversations behind the scenes or even before the season start where they're like talking about, oh, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. Trust me, because I myself, and I've said this on the show before, I've been not only through production with a certain show that I went for back in 2015, where they wanted me to basically play straight. And I'm like, I'm not going to go on a reality TV show and play straight where I've been living my authentic self for like years. Then people are going to try to expose me and be like, he ain't straight. So like in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to go on that show. I'm not going to do that. And then there was another opportunity that I had where someone reached out to me, like, an acquaintance I knew, basically saying, would I be on a reality TV show that was casting, but that I will have to play the boyfriend of a trans girl. And I'm like, again, I'm not like, listen, I'm into the arts. I like acting and stuff and music and all that stuff, but I'm not going to act and not be my authentic self. So that's what I mean by self-producing. And Salt Lake City, I always felt like they self-produce a little bit, but it was a great premiere episode. Unpopular opinion, I've listened to a few podcasters today talking about Salt Lake City and what they thought. In my opinion, I have to disagree with some of them. Lisa Barlow's absence from the first episode, I was ni he ni ha, as me and Melanie would say, because I was indifferent. It was actually refreshing not having her, although she was the topic of a conversation. So let's, it was refreshing not having her. Now let's go back and start again. So Lisa Barlow was not there because behind the scenes, if you guys don't know, back when Salt Lake City started shooting, Lisa Barlow was basically holding off for a higher paycheck. This happens a lot with housewives where they like hold off, and lawyers, publicists, etc. They may advise you like, listen, you're going through contract negotiations, don't show up. She didn't show up. Now, the first episode consisted of all the other girls. Everyone returned from last season, if you watched last season, including friend of Brittany, which I have to say, she's exhausting. She's such a self-producer. It's like, is she serious? I have to think that to myself a lot. Like, is she serious? I am Mary Cosby when Brittany talks. Like, and if you know Mary Cosby, you if you know, you know. Now, this episode, she wasn't there. The girls, usually this was a first weird premiere episode because never in the history of Real Housewives did you see the group first episode going on a girls trip, which they did. It was in an RV and it wasn't as glamorous as usual. They had to camp out, but it showed all the girls going on a basically RV camping trip. And you've seen a few disputes, a few things pop off between Whitney and Brittany. Brittany was basically being Lisa's cheerleader and fault Whitney when Whitney brought up Lisa. Angie and Heather got into it because Angie asked basically confronted Heather and said, if Lisa was here, would you be as nice to Bronwyn? Bronwyn and Heather made up, although they had beef last year, they made up over a little kayaking trip. Bronwyn had a lot to say about Lisa Barlow, about all her lawsuits and civil lawsuits going on in Salt Lake and Utah. So it was a episode not short of drama and like, damn, a tea being spilled. But I do have to say there was some moments I felt it was overproduced. Like at the end when they were like going because of some legend of some chick who haunts someone and they're going through the woods and it's like very Blair Witch Project. If Blair Witch Project. Um, the moments like that, I'm like, this is a little, corny and self-produced. It just felt fake and not reality. But all in all, I still enjoyed the premiere. I'm still excited for Salt Lake City, and I'm tuned in. They got me. I'm tuned in. I'm all the way in. I will give the Salt Lake City premiere a 7 circles out of 10 circles. How about that? Let's give it a call. And now, before I end the show, listen, I was supposed to, we had a special guest today, and things happened. This is not the first time it happened, where, things don't go as planned. But again, when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And I'm the hostess with the mostest. So it's like, hello, I'm still going to come to you and give you what you need. But before we end it is Latin Heritage Month. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that as a proud Latino that I am, about Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs from September 15th through October 14th. The observation started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week and was expanded in 1988 to cover a 30-day period. The date of the September 15th is significant as it marks the Independence Day for 5 Latin American countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Mexico and Chile then celebrate their Independence Day on September 16th and 18th. According to the 2020 census, Hispanics and Latinos are more than 62.1 and 18.7% of the U.S. population. No wonder they're trying so hard out there. No wonder. Hispanics and Latinos account for over half of the country's growth. Again, no wonder. Far too long, the achievements of our community have been overlooked or omitted from classrooms and history books. And listen, with the current leader that we have and the reports of how we're trying to get rid of certain books out there and certain things of teaching of what actually history was. Pay attention, stay woke, people. Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month allows us the opportunity to show respect, learn about, and honor nuestra comunidad. So, listen, I'm proud to be Latino, and history, no matter who tries to take out books, no matter who tries to take out whatever from museum, would never be erased as long as we live proud and authentic. So that is that. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode. It's been a great week, I have to say. Last weekend I went to Central Park. I'm enjoying the last few days of summer to the fullest. Like literally, like summer ends this weekend, y'all. But although the weather's still been nice, but this past weekend, I did a picnic in Central Park. I went out, like I've been like outside. I'm still like having that outside feel. Monday, I went to the San Janeiro Festival in Little Italy, in around basically downtown Manhattan, which was pretty cool. This was my second year going. I had a blast. Last year I went, but listen, sometimes I have to say this. Sometimes the company you keep or the company you're with, you could go somewhere a million times, but you go with the right people or the right person, and that one experience, like over the many times you went, trumps it and is amazing. And this is how I felt about my second time going to the San Janeiro Festival last year. I'm not saying last year was sucked, but this year has so much more fun and I was so much more grounded, and the company was great. So San Janeiro Festival, check out our Instagram, the Inner Circle Podcast, and check out behind the scenes and footage that I have from the San Janeiro Festival. And listen, thank you guys again for tuning in. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, share, all those good stuff. Appreciate you guys. And I am back, same place, same time, next week, right here on the Inner Circle Podcast. Love you guys. Adios. Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, everything the Inner Circle Podcast. You catch us every Wednesday live at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook.